Alright guys, so today we're going to be taking a look at the new Moondrop pill. Now we knew it's pretty much only a matter of time before Moondrop released a clip-on ear style earbud, mainly because it is the most popular style right now, and Moondrop releases stuff pretty frequently. But I'm a huge fan of Moondrop products, so I was really curious to see how they approach this. From a pricing standpoint, they actually came in a lot lower than I thought they would. It only retails for $50. Now obviously the pill name comes from the design of the case. You can immediately look at it and see that it resembles a pill. Now I have it in the black color, but they do have it available in a couple other colors that actually makes it look more like a pill. But you spin the case inside around, and that's how you expose the actual earbuds to take them out. So it is pretty well protected. The only thing I don't really like about the case is there's no way to like sit it and keep it from like slightly rolling because of its design. Now it will hit a little corner and stop. The case is a little bit larger than the other clip-on style earbuds case, so it is going to take up a little bit more room in your pocket, but overall it's not extremely large and it does stay pretty compact overall. Now the earbuds do have a pretty unique look as well. The part that goes in your ear canal is a little bit larger. Now it is using a 13mm dynamic driver, so it's a little larger than some of the other ones in other clip-on style earbuds, but the huge round surface is kind of almost doubling as trying to block a little bit more in your ear canal. So it's not as open as some of the other ones that I've tested. And the plus here is these don't leak as much sound. It sounds a lot closer to a regular style earbud because regular earbuds are obviously what completely seals your ears. Now, although these don't, it still allows you to hear a pretty decent amount of sound around you. Now, another interesting fact about the pill earbuds is this is the first device that I've tested that's using Bluetooth 6.0. And so far, I can tell you the multi-point connection, being able to connect to two devices and switch from one to the other, is very smooth. The connection is solid, and the range is definitely better than the previous Bluetooth version. So as you'd expect, Bluetooth is getting better the more that the technology advances. Now, the first thing I would recommend doing before using these is downloading the Moondrop app. This helps you keep the earbuds updated, but on top of that, the first thing I would say you would want to do with these is put it into the high gain mode. There's a low, medium, and high, and I feel like the medium mode just doesn't get quite loud enough, and high definitely solves this problem. There are different sound modes, which really is just a reference mode, a bass plus mode, and a bass minus. So I don't necessarily consider these EQ options, because also within the app there is the option to go in and really customize the sound that you want. And this is where I feel like the Moondrop stands out from all of the other ones. You have a lot more customization in the sound. They even allow users to upload their own sound profiles, so you can just go and check out other people's if you're curious to what they did. And it gives you more control than just, the regular, 5-band or 10-band equalizer. There's other things that you have control of to really dial it in. Now, also within the app, there are somewhat kind of controls over your control. These do use touch controls, and out of the box, they just don't let you control everything. There's no volume control. And honestly, even within the app, once you play around with some things, you can never get these to control volume. So you are going to have to pull out your phone or whatever device you're connected to actually control the volume. And then also within the app, there is a gaming mode. So if you need to cut down latency even more, although Bluetooth 6.0 is getting it very close to not needing a gaming or low latency mode. It does a really good job with this, but the gaming mode is here so that if you are going to game or watch a movie, this just kind of helps cut down on lag where you might need it to be. And then if you are going to use these outdoors, they do come in with an IPX4 rating. I do wish that companies would start to focus a little bit more on blocking out water and blocking out dust in a style of earbud that's pretty much made to be worn all the time. So IPX4 is just going to be fine if you get splashes or if you sweat or if it rains a little bit. You're pretty much just protected against things like that. Now, as far as what they've included in the box, this is pretty simple. It just comes with this really tiny USB-C cable, which you would did need to charge these. But speaking of the charging, the battery life is actually pretty decent. It's exactly where you would hope it would be for a style of earbud like this. It gets you 8 hours on the earbuds on a single charge, so that'll get you through a full work day without needing to charge these. And with the charging case, you're going to get about 28 hours total. So decent battery life here. It's not the best that I've seen. And as far as I can tell, there's no fast charging with this pair. I didn't see any information on that, but if I do find it, I'll pin it as like the top comment. So just check that below. And then if you are going to use these for taking phone calls, now this is where it says that it has its own neural processing unit, or NPU. This is basically using AI to try to be able to tell what's background noise and what's actually your voice talking. So it's trying to focus in on your voice and just block everything else out around you. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here. So here's the mic test of the Moondrop Pill. Now I am outside, but there's not really a whole lot of noise going on out here. I can hear like an air conditioner unit outside from the neighbor's house. There are some birds chirping. So this is really just to kind of give you an idea of what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public. So now let's talk about the sound. And the sound on these, and the way that I'm going to talk about them, it's going to be in the high gain mode, but also with the bass plus sound profile on these. And the reason I did this is I felt like the bass was fine out of the box. I am more of a bass head, so I do like to feel the low end a little bit more. And I felt like the bass plus added just enough. It gave it a little bit more oomph to give it kind of where I like to have it. And it also kind of added a little bit more warmth to the sound overall. So in my opinion, I think when sound profiles kind of have a warmer tone to it, it feels a little bit more natural. It doesn't feel like it's trying to over process anything, because I feel like the low end had just enough punch. Even sub bass had a little bit of a presence. Again, if you're a bass head and you like, subwoofer type bass, or you have the Skull Candy Crushers and you like something that's just going to vibrate or you can feel bass, that's not something that I've really been able to experience with the clip-on open ear style earbuds yet. But the bass is actually pretty impressive, and that's even at lower volume. Now when it comes to the mids and the treble, I felt like those were pretty well detailed. There's nothing overly done here, although I do feel like Vocalist kind of has a little bit more of a forward approach than some of the other ones. There's a lot of details with certain instruments. There's a lot of little details you can pick up with both male and female vocalists. So they did an excellent job here. And the treble has a lot of detail, but it's not like overly bright. It's not overly harsh. You can go in and dial it up that way if you want it to be. I mean, I feel like you can get these pretty bright if you go around and mess with the different tunings that you can mess around with. Now, I will say when it comes to the sound stage, the sound imaging, this is not the most open sounding pair that I've heard in this type of design. And I think that's because of the large design of where the speaker is. I think this pair kind of covers up a little bit more of your ear canal than some of the other ones. It's made to kind of sit a little further down. I would almost say that it's more comparable to like a regular pair of AirPods as far as it's sitting in your ear canal. It's blocking a decent amount. It still allows you to hear things around you, but it's not as clear as some of the others because there is some blockage there. But some people may prefer this. I actually am one of those because I would much rather have better sound quality than being more exposed to the sounds around me. But again, that's just going to come down to personal preference. So my overall opinion on these is I'm so glad that Moondrop decided to jump into this style of earbud. It's nice to be able to have this much customization over the sound when it comes to these. It's not made to just be something that can just produce decent sound and you're just kind of stuck with it the way that it is. There's a lot of customization here. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the design because I would like to see the case be a little bit smaller and somewhat flat on at least one side where you can just sit it down and it not move. I also think the plastic shell on the outside's pretty much going to get scratched up over time. And, there's no way to really protect that unless you have another pouch or something to put these in. But overall, if you can look past those things, and I do appreciate that they're going with a somewhat unique design because you do have to stand out a little bit. The overall feel of these is it's going to be really hard to find something that sounds better in the $50 price range in this style of earbud. And I think having this much customization and being able to hear other people's tunings, it's pretty unique in the fact that there's so much control over the sound. And I think this is going to appeal to audiophiles that's looking at this style of earbud and not just be stuck with something the way that it's tuned out of the box. So yeah, I highly recommend these at $50. I think it's a hell of a bargain, but again, I find that Moondrop definitely comes in and does this from time to time. But guys, that wraps up my video on the new Moondrop pill. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.